and still rocking just as loud. Real classic rock. The Zinger 100.9 and AM 1400. Coming to you live from WZNG Studio-B, it's the Cascade Coaches Show on the Zinger 100.9. Get ready for inside analysis and recap on all things Cascade High School basketball with the Lady Champions head coach, Janie DeMumbrium, and Champions head coach, Doug Worsley. Hosted by Voice of the Champions, Noah Maddox. Now let's send it live to Studio-B for another edition of the Cascade Coaches Show.
Hello and welcome everybody into the Cascade Coaches Show live from Studio B on the Zinger 100.9 and AM 1400. Once again, I'm Noah Maddox, joined by Coach Shady. We'll be joined later by Coach Worsley, and we have a very important show for you this evening. Coach, welcome into the show once again.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And the Cascade Coaches Show is brought to you by Five Oaks Farm of Tennessee, Clanton Private Supply, First Community Bank, and Kincaid Service Company. So the district tournament took place on Cascade's home floor this past weekend and end of last week. Lady Champions come in 21-8 now after the two losses in the district tournament. Of course, makes the road a little bit more difficult. But you knew that you would probably have to end up playing this team, and this team being Hickman County, in the region tournament at some point. And I guess you get them after a week of prep. What is that? Is that any, with you guys having already played them, what does that bring to you in terms of the prep for this week?
I'm not sure that it brings much to us simply because we played them so early on in the season. We are familiar a little bit with them, but I think that the 4 days that we're going to have of prep would be pretty good for us because we're trying to change some things. We can focus a little bit more on us as far as what we need to do, and then turn our focus the later part of the week onto them. For sure.
We'll get more into that game later in the show, but first we do need to congratulate Kaegan Young on becoming the school's all-time leading scorer on Saturday. She scored 20 points on Saturday and brings her total for her career up to 1,506, surpassing 45 years it took to break
That's
this
crazy.
record. 45-year-old record for most career points. Mark Gilmore scored 1495. Kaegan broke that in the first half of the game on Saturday. Hearing all that, what does it mean to you for Kaegan to be the one to break this record that's been standing for nearly a half century?
To go through 4 years with her, it means a lot because I have seen the work that she's put in, not only for our program but also for herself. She's trained really hard. She's worked really hard. She's put herself out there with AAU to make herself better. She's just a great kid. She works hard for everything she gets. So it means a lot for us right now, but then also for the future for a lot of girls to look up to her.
For sure. That's I feel like, a much needed positive also coming out of last week with the way it went. Obviously, it started with the semifinal against Summertown. You knew that going into that game, you knew that it would be close and tight like the first two games were. You just beat them in overtime less than a week prior. In this one, you guys were up 22-16 going into the half, but Gabby Long hit that three right before the break. You guys, it felt like played really good defensively. You guys, held them to 25% shooting for the game, but they managed to find a way to win. What was the difference in the game against Summertown the second time around? Different, I guess what was different than the first two where you guys found a way to win at the end?
We had level scoring the other two times that we played them, and this third time that we've played them, it wasn't that way. It doesn't help that we shot 26%, and of course, our threes just weren't falling. We were 4 of 24 that night, which is hard for us, and we have to have those. But then they also killed us on the offensive boards. They had I think it was 17, maybe 13 or 17 offensive rebounds, and we had 4. So that's all new possessions that they got to get the shots back up. And they took 10 extra shots than we did. So it's been a hard week to play on our home court, and not a good week to have a bad week at all. Kind of wish this would have happened a little bit earlier. But, sometimes that's just how the ball rolls. And I do think that it can be how do you emerge out of the adversity that you're going to face, because that's what we're in right now.
For sure. The good news is that it was games that were not win in advance, win and you're in, that kind of deal. It wasn't, where you had to win or else at this point of the year. But this coming one obviously is moving forward. That's the way it'll be. In that game, it was 15-5 on the offensive glass for Summertown. And Summertown, they also, played Lena Brown quite a few more minutes than the first 2 matchups. And she finished with 8 rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive glass. But Coach Jeremy Jean also brought her in to be the primary defender on Kaegan. What kind of wrinkle was that to you, going back and having watched the film of that game? The way that Coach Jean used Brown like he did.
Well, I don't think that it impacted us offensively on Kaegan, but I do think that when Brown came in, she was looking for those rebounds, and I do think that was an impact for us. And I had even mentioned to him, I was like, dude, I know that she has struggled all year long, but she's stepping up when she needed to step up. So she had a great game. She had a great tournament. I believe she got all tournament for Summertown, but we just didn't box her out. She wanted the ball. Every time there was a loose ball, she was under the goal trying to get rebounds. So it just brought more power to them. Yeah,
and it was kind of a shock to, as the game was going on, it's like, wow, she didn't play a lot the first 2 games, but if there was that in there, then you'd wonder why it hadn't come out before. But they did, obviously, for Summertown, picked a great time to tap into that moving forward for them. So you guys coming off that loss, it was close down the stretch, and then Summertown hit the free throws at the end. You guys, it was a 2-point lead, and then Ella had that and one to take the lead, and then you had a couple stretches where just couldn't get the ball in the basket.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something that we've talked about too the last few days, is if we can't get the ball to fall through the hoop on the 3-point line, we've got to get to the rim. We can't just sit outside, and we can't go 4 for 24. That just can't happen for us. So we've got to use our slashers and use our drivers to get in there to get to the rim. If you can't make the shot, then hopefully you can at least get fouled and get on the free throw line.
Speaking of getting fouled and getting to the free throw line, that I guess is another positive from this weekend. You guys did shoot very well at the free throw line, especially Caroline in the Summertown game specifically went 8 for 8 at the line. She maybe drew iron 1 time out of those 8 attempts. But I that was a positive from this weekend. It's like, seeing you guys knock down the free throws despite it, coming in 2 games that you would have hoped to win. But the free throw shooting, that is one thing moving forward that you would hope be able to sustain, but it's a good sign to see it play out on the floor. Then you guys had the day off, had Friday off, and turned around and took on Community, who had fell to Loretto. You knew going in, obviously, they lost their point guard in the first half of that Loretto game, and that is a big reason why they ended up playing you guys in that consolation game. What was the biggest difference in this game against Community on Saturday? Other than obviously Jocelyn missing playing in the first 4 minutes and getting hurt after the halfway point of the first quarter.
Yeah, Alyssa White had a really good game, and Jocelyn's done really good on her. And then, we didn't have Susanna in there either until the second half. So that kind of hurt us a little bit. I think she had 8 points in the first quarter, maybe 6 points in the first quarter. But we had 1 basket the entire second quarter, and then we had 1 basket the entire fourth quarter, with a total of 8 baskets, and Kaegan had 4 of those baskets, and they were all 3-pointers. Lizzie had 2 2-pointers, and then Caroline had 2 3-pointers. So that was the difference. We just weren't able, again, we shot 20%. We were 8 for 40. And you're not going to win a basketball game no matter what defense you sit in, no matter what offense I draw up. If we can't put the ball in the hole, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're not going to win that. So, that was kind of my message. I had an opportunity to speak with Caroline, Kaegan, and Lizzie today because that's who most of our offense runs through. And I just mentioned to them, look, we can't do this. If you want your season to continue past Friday, we have to shoot better. If our threes aren't falling, we have to get to the rim. I need all three of them specifically to be on the same page. And then, having Susie fully back now and, looking for her to start on Friday, because that's another strength for us. If we can get her out there, make a couple threes, get some rebounds on the glass, maybe get Jade in there, get some threes. And then, Lizzie and Lexi doing all they can to get those boards, and that's a different ballgame for us. But again, 8 for 40, you're not going to win a game with that.
Yeah, that's tough when you shoot 20%. That's not a number that you
and
typically
they weren't
is in
bad
your
shots.
favor.
I mean, they weren't bad shots. They were open shots. They were typical shots that we usually would hit. And I think that is what is so disheartening for me, is that we should have hit those shots. I mean, that's our gym. That's our basketballs. It's our fans. It's just... Yeah.
It's one that you hate that it happened, but at the same time, put it in the rearview mirror, and there's a big game, even bigger than the two combined, coming up on Friday. Before we go to break, is there any update on Jocelyn as of this moment? Obviously, it happened less than 2 days ago.
Yeah, she rested the rest of the weekend. She didn't practice today. She was out there with us, walking around. She stayed in a ankle brace all day today, I think just to control that swelling, trying to get some of that swelling down. She's putting pressure on it, but as far as like a medical diagnosis, no. But she's tough. She's gonna, if she's able to get out there, she'll get out there. She's got softball rolling around the corner too, so we've also got to consider that on what's best for her. And then obviously you don't want to put her out there if she's not ready. So you have to what's best for our team too.
For sure, yeah, we'll definitely. I'm sure as the week goes on, you'll have a much better understanding come Thursday and Friday. We'll be back in 2 minutes right here on the Cascade Coaches Show on the Zinger 100.9.
Okay.
Looking for farm fresh beef with real Tennessee flavor? At Five Oaks Farm in Shelbyville, their cattle are pasture-raised and grain-finished for rich, tender taste every time. From their popular burger box to the fully stocked family box, Five Oaks Farm is here to serve you with high-quality, locally raised beef. Order your box today at fiveoaksfarmtn.com. Five Oaks Farm, a brand you can trust.
Friends don't let friends miss out on savings. They share tips, tools, and smart choices that help your money go further. At First Community Bank, our savings accounts make it easy to work toward your goals with flexible options, competitive interest, and the friendly guidance you deserve. Because saving more isn't something a good friend lets you miss out on. Open an account today and put your money to work. First Community Bank. Friends and neighbors first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Kincaid's is proud to offer Beauty Rest Black to our customers. Beauty Rest Black represents a leap forward in bedding with sleep climate technology keeping you cool and triple-stranded pocketed coils to give you luxurious support all night long. Wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day with a new Beauty Rest Black mattress from Kincaid Service Company. 400 Madison Street, Shelbyville, across from the Speedway gas station. 931-684-5662. If you're in the market for heavy equipment, Clanton Pipe and Supply has you covered. With everything from skid steers, backhoes, and even mini excavators, you never know what Clanton will have on the lot. For all your pipe and used equipment needs, call 931-684-4847. For heavy equipment, financing is available with approved credit. And of course, you know Clanton for their corrugated metal and plastic culvert pipe. They carry all types and sizes, not to mention that delivery is also available. 931-684-4847, ClantonPipeandSupply.com.
It's the Cascade Coaches Show on the Zinger 100.9.
Welcome back to the Cascade Coaches Show right here on the Zinger, brought to you by Five Oaks Farm of Tennessee, Clinton Pipe and Supply, First Community Bank, and Cascade Service Company. We know Maddox here, joined by Coach Janie DeMumriam of the Lady Champions, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. If you ever, for some reason, want to also watch this, we advise keeping it strictly in the ears. So you guys obviously close out the district tournament. Now moving on to take on the District 10 2A champions, Hickman County, on the road. I guess, we'll get hopefully, fingers crossed, get very familiar with Hickman County this coming week into next week. But Hickman County, you guys traveling up there, you guys played them back in right before Thanksgiving in that Cornersville Thanksgiving Classic, second, third game of the year, somewhere in that nature. So it's almost like, when you look back at these games, it's like, well, obviously you have the same. We were
playing so much different at that point in time.
You have the same individuals that are stepping on the floor. Yeah. But it's almost kind of irrelevant how that game went because teams are so different at this point in the season. Obviously, you knew coming into the season that both of these teams would be would finish the regular season where they did, near or at the top of their respective districts. But you guys are now facing off in the region quarterfinal. I don't think many people would have expected that paired with what we saw in the regular season.
Yeah, definitely not. Maybe it throws us for a loop. Like I said, when I talked to Lizzie and them today, I just talked about maybe it's a blessing for us. Maybe it's an eye-opening for us. I know some people think we've had all these articles written about us. It was never good. It was always going to come back on us and bite us in the butt. But maybe taking out their 1 seed is what we need to do. I told the girls after the game on Friday, I said, definitely don't want to be the 4 seed, but I'm gonna wear the 4 seed with pride. I'm sorry. And we're going to go in there and we're going to win. And that's my mindset is it's not impossible. It's possible. We are a good team. We're a really good team when all of my cylinders are clicking together. Yeah. And when we're not shooting 20%. I promise. I think when I talked to Coach Gene after our game, when I talked to him Friday, when he came for their boys game, he was like, you can put the ball in the hole. You put the ball in the hole, you make 1 or 2 threes, and it's a different ball game. Yeah. And I think that's the truth about our girls. It's a bad week to have a bad week. It was awful.
It is. But it's not the worst week.
It's not. Our season is still going. And when you get the opportunity to look at these girls and be like, hey, if you want to continue our season, this is what we have to do. Yeah. They'll buckle down and do it. It's just, hey, we just got to go. We got to go be those road warriors. And I'm hoping that our district schedule has prepared us for what we're going to see on Friday. Obviously, with them being the number 1 in their district. But I'll stand by the fact that I do believe that we have one of the top 3 hardest districts in the state of Tennessee.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I was telling Brandon, I was like, top 3 is probably a little conservative, but it's definitely in that realm.
It's a gauntlet, man.
It's tough. Obviously all 4 teams, all of them, could easily, we knew going into the district tournament, any number 1 through 4, and we almost saw the 4 seed Summertown beat Loretto in the championship game until the last 2 or 3 minutes, and then that 1 through 4 could win. You could flip the results, and you wouldn't be totally shocked. And it's not discounting any other district. It's just the fact that you happen to have this one with 4 teams that are this quality. They're going to be a tough team to play on any given night.
Yeah, and we've had to play 2 tough games nearly every week as to where, we haven't had these soft schedules to cushion ourselves on. And so I'm just hoping that we're prepared.
For sure. The good news is at this point in the season, you can look back on some things that could show up as being a potential positive is the teams that have put together winning streaks throughout the season. They've done it before. It's a chance for them to do it again in this kind of climate. You guys went on a 6-game winning streak earlier in the year. That started with Moore County. which is a really good 1A team,
Right.
And included the win over Loretto and Community that was on the road. And that was, Community has shown themselves to be a pretty solid team as well as the season's wound down. There's a chance, you guys knew that coming in, you'd probably, coming into the district tournament last week, if you get where you guys really want to get to, you would have to go through this Hickman County team at some point, in this region tournament. Is there any, you get a full week to prepare for them, focus, solely on them instead of the kind of setup from where you go to Friday to Monday game.
Right.
Do you think that might help in any way compared to playing them on, say, a Monday or a Wednesday?
It does give us more time. The moment I walked out of our locker room on Saturday, on Huddle, requesting film.
Yeah.
So it does give us a little bit more time to study them, and the girls be able to get on Huddle and watch some of their clips. I've already talked about some of it with them privately about tendencies on things, and they already know who they're going to guard. And so I do think that it gives us more prep time, and I'm hopeful that it gives us an opportunity to get our confidence back. I think that we're losing a little bit of our fire. And a little bit of the belief. And so I hope that while they're at home this week, we're talking about it in practice, but while they're at home this week, that people are talking to them about, hey, you still have a path. You still can do what you want to do. And you can still make this a historical run for you.
For sure.
Because it is possible. So I do think that it is a benefit for us to not have that such quick turnaround. But again, it's only a benefit if we can put the ball in the hole.
Right. For Hickman County, Ava Floyd, their lead guard, just going off, that game back in November, you guys did take the floor with them. You did beat them by 12, 58-46 for, what it's worth at this point of the year. But there is a little bit of the familiarity to the point of, hey, we're good enough to play with and beat a team of this caliber. We did it once. We just, if we do what we can, if we control, we can control, and we do enough of the things to win, then we can win even if it's on their own floor. But the players to watch for them, watching some of the film and going off the stats here. Ava Floyd, their lead guard, had 17 points in that game, but it took her 16 shots. And then Bailey Kramer, who's their center inside, that obviously can provide some, deterrence, I guess, in the paint. She finished with 10 points and 7 rebounds. But in that game, there was a lot of foul trouble for Hickman County. At this point in the season, you would think that, they've kind of cleaned that up a little bit. But you guys have proven this year that you can get to the free throw line. It's just about making them once you get there.
Yeah, it's just about being strong. Again, I told you guys off the air, it's going to be 2 different associations. When they were here in Cornersville, it was our association, and when we go up there, it's their association. So 2 different ways. I don't know how they call up there. I can only tell by what the film I have I'm looking at. But they have a really good shooting guard. Carly, I want to think her last name's Everett.
Everett, yeah.
Now she's got a quick release. And she can take them deep. And then they have a number 30, Chloe, maybe?
Zoe Chilton.
Zoe. She is a bigger guard that also likes to go inside a little bit, and she's got a really good shot. We have actually been around them a little bit at Wayne County during the summer, so we've seen them a little bit more than any other of our region opponents. So we are familiar with them in that sense. So.
What are going to be some of the keys to taking down Hickman County on Friday night?
Defensive transition. They like to push the ball a lot, and then it's really going to come down to another thing of not just putting the ball in the hole, but also making sure that we understand our defensive assignments. I think that's what's going to win the game for us is our defense. Our offense, like I said, is we're going to mix some things up, but defensively we've got to understand who specifically we are on. Don't make sure we're not over helping to where we leave a shooter wide open. And I think we can keep them off the boards. Of course, the Kramer girl, she's huge, 6'3", I believe. And we've got to box her out. And, I think that we can pressure them to maybe get up in them a little bit. Kaegan guarded
Ava Floyd
girl the last time we played them, and that's my go-to again. I'm going to stick those two together because I do think that Kaegan can impact her with her long arms and everything, and so we'll just see. I mean, it's going to be the defense. They want to push the ball up the court. I mean, Ava Floyd will go coast to coast if you let her. And she has all three levels of the game. She can get to the rim and finish like Busby. She'll take one or two dribbles past half court and cannon it too. So it's going to be a task, but it's not an impossible task.
For sure. You guys hitting the road for the first time in the region quarterfinals. The last 2 years it's been at home against Lewis County, I believe, both years. This year Loretto hosts Lewis County for what that, just keeping tabs on, a dance partner from the last 2 years.
Right.
But this year hitting the road a round earlier than it has been the previous two, even though last year was obviously at home. You guys on the road to Hickman County. Is there any just on the little things of, hey, what time we're leaving, when are we getting up there? It's an hour 45 bus ride to Hickman County, the school. I mean, the little things to get ready for this game. It can't be overlooked, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, all of that is an impact. When we went to Loretto, that's a 2 hours drive. We left super early, and we were able to get there before anybody else was there. I have discussed with Coach Gill. He's going to be driving us Friday. I've discussed with him a little bit. I originally said potentially 3:30. That'll get us there by 5:30. The game's not till 7. We can't get on the court with basketballs until
6:45. Yeah.
So I didn't want a lot of lingering time, but he brought up the fact of, hey, I mean, we can, if we leave at 2:30, we could potentially stop, let the girls walk around, let them stretch out a little bit, and then get back on the bus halfway and go. So I haven't fully decided. We have our region meeting on Wednesday at East Hickman. So hopefully, that's going to be real fun. Hopefully we can get some plans narrowed down, but we're going to get on that cheese wagon and we're going to go to Hickman County, and hopefully we're the Road Warriors.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck, obviously.
Thank you.
We expect it to be a great game on Friday night, and that's what we're really looking forward to. And hopefully, you guys, since, we are the home station here, hoping, obviously rooting for you guys to pull it out on Friday and make us take another trek back up to East Hickman next week for the region tournament. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach. And again, best of luck on Friday, and congratulations to Kaegan Young.
Yes, thank you so much.
We'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll hit the phones for Coach Doug Worsley on the other side of this break right here on the Cascade Coaches Show.
Looking for farm fresh beef with real Tennessee flavor? At Five Oaks Farm in Shelbyville, their cattle are pasture raised and grain finished for rich, tender taste every time. From their popular burger box to the fully stocked family box, Five Oaks Farm is here to serve you with high quality, locally raised beef. Order your box today at fiveoaksfarmtn.com. Five Oaks Farm, a brand you can trust.
In our community, we believe in supporting one another. And at First Community Bank, we take that seriously. For generations, we've been proud to serve our neighbors with personal service that's as genuine as a handshake. Whether you're opening an account for your new business, saving for your child's education, or just need a safe place for your money, we're here with a commitment to the people of our hometown. First Community Bank, proud to be your hometown bank. Visit us today and see how we can help you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Visit Kincaid Service Company today to experience the superior comfort of a Serta mattress. Serta has pioneered sleep innovation for more than 90 years, bringing quality products to more than 150 countries worldwide. Serta Comfort is validated by consumers with thousands of 5-star reviews and are designed and assembled in the U.S. at one of Serta's state-of-the-art facilities. Serta's award-winning mattress collections are created by providing superior comfort along with overall support and breathability. Get Serta Comfort by visiting Kincaid Service Company in Shelbyville. Online at kincaidservice.com.
If you're in the market for heavy equipment, Clanton Pipe & Supply has you covered. With everything from skid steers, backhoes, and even mini excavators, you never know what Clanton will have on the lot. For all your pipe and used equipment needs, call 931-684-4847. For heavy equipment, financing is available with approved credit. And of course, you know Clanton for their corrugated metal and plastic culvert pipe. They carry all types and sizes, not to mention that delivery is also available. 931-684-4847, ClantonPipeandSupply.com.
It's the Cascade Coaches Show on the Zinger 100.9.
Welcome back to the Cascade Coaches Show. Noah Maddox here, joined by Coach Doug Worsley over the phone. Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to call in. And the Cascade Coaches Show is brought to you by Five Oaks Farm of Tennessee, Clanton Pipe and Supply, First Community Bank, Kincaid Service Company. Just as the last bit of housekeeping, or first bit of housekeeping, I should say, Coach, you guys looking ahead to the obviously this week, just one game this week on Saturday against Hickman County on the road, the District 10 champions. You guys will be taking on Hickman County at 7 o'clock on Saturday, February 28th. The Lady Champions taking on Hickman County, also on the road, Friday night at 7 o'clock. We'll be live again at 6:45 right here on the Zinger 100.9, and that is the bit of housekeeping that we had to clean up. Coach, looking ahead, obviously this is just a real quick look ahead at Hickman County, previewing that before going back and talking about the district tournament from this weekend. It's a team that's a program that's been to the state tournament twice in the last 2 years. They're 18-8 this year, and you guys coming in had a rough outing on Saturday, but a very capable squad. I mean, first of all, how excited are you, and how excited is the team for this region quarterfinal?
I'm excited. I'm always excited about getting a chance to play in the postseason. The guys, I think, are excited. I think there's a little bit of trepidation. Obviously, seniors would have played last year, would have played as juniors against Mount Pleasant. But there's a bunch of guys that are younger that, again, are part of our rotation that, you know, it's new for them. So, you know, it's going to be one of those things where I hope, you know, they're going to react well to it, but we won't know till we get them out there.
Absolutely. Well, we're definitely looking forward to this week too. Very intriguing games for a couple, you know, couple different reasons, but they're still extremely intriguing to the two of us, at least me and Brandon. Looking back to last week, we'll start with the district tournament. District 9 2A, you guys came in fourth, but it was an extremely competitive Friday night. Two close games that were decided by 4 points in the first game and 3 points in the second game. You guys took on Summertown, who was just outside the top 10 in the state in last week's poll. And you guys fell by 3 points, 49-46, to the eventual district champions. It took overtime against Loretto. But you guys had a couple chances to win at the end or tie at the end. What did you think of your team's effort and performance throughout the full game? Because I don't think the largest lead of the night was any more than 6.
Well, they were at 21-14 at one point.
Okay, 7.
So it was 7.
Okay.
I loved what we did. Obviously, the falling behind by 7 wasn't in the cards, but we came back to tie it right before halftime.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, you know, our kids did everything we were supposed to do. We defended them from the three-point line, I thought, about as good as we could.
Yeah.
They shoot so many threes. And I thought we rushed them. We got out after them, made them take some fast ones, and then we made them take some where they were going off the dribble, where guys who aren't necessarily as good as shooters off the dribble as they are spot-ups, we made them move, and that lowered the percentage a little bit too. You know, down 2 with, 13 or 15 seconds to go. We had timeout right in front of our bench, and, you know, we called a particular set play that we'd been running in practice over and over again for situations just like this. Guys ran it to perfection. We got a great look out of it, got a good three-point look out of it. Cooper McElroy got a great look. He went in and out. And then off the miss, we had an opportunity to stick it back, and we just didn't get that one. And then, you know, had to foul when they inbounded the ball. We had to go quickly with with so little time left, and I think it was 4.5 seconds left. We got the ball back with down 3, and again we took care of a play that we had run over and over again throughout the year in a last-second situation, and got a good look at it. Not the best look, but I got a really good look, and again, it didn't go down. So I felt really good about what we did, and I thought we left it all on the line Friday night.
For sure. It was a very entertaining game. You guys held them to 4 of 23 shooting from behind the arc and under 50 points. I feel like it feels like them going 4 of 23 from downtown might be a first this year with the amount of shooters that they have on that team, and of course being held under 50. That I believe is the first time that they've been held under 50. The second time, that they've been held under 50 this year. So defensively, as you mentioned, really couldn't have played it much better than that. It was just, as you said, the shots at the end just unfortunately would not go down. Cooper McElroy, it was good to see him get going throughout the full game. He finished with 15 and 8 rebounds, and it was unfortunate that shot didn't fall at the 2 shots didn't fall at the end, but he had been held to under 5 points in both of the games against Summertown earlier in the regular season. What did you see from Cooper specifically? We know he's capable of going on a hot streak like he did in that game against Summertown, but what did you think to see that against the kind of team in Summertown that you guys were taking on Friday night?
Well, I mean, he didn't play great in either of the other 2 games, but that's, again, that's not normal for him.
Yeah.
That's a kind of an aberration to be held under 5 points both games. That's kind of weird. I don't know, looking back on the film, I don't know that they did anything different or weird, to him. Of course, the second game at Summertown, he only played part of the first half. I think he got in a little foul trouble. We had to sit him a little bit. And he was only about 2 minutes into the third, when we unfortunately had the technical. So, he really didn't get to play a whole game there. So the fact that he was under 5 was not a shock.
Yeah.
But I thought he would have played a little better. Had he got to play the entire game down at Summertown, I think he would have been fine. But, Cooper's ready. He works at it. He's not gonna, he's not gonna be discouraged by shots not falling. He's gonna do other things to try to score. And I thought he did a fantastic job that night. Missed those shots at the end, and I told him after the game, I said I wouldn't change it. I said I wouldn't change the call, and I wouldn't change the shooter.
Yeah.
I said, number one, I thought he was the guy that night to make those shots, and unfortunately they didn't go down.
I would agree. As someone who's watching it, it felt like that one, had a real good shot of going down, and unfortunately, as you said, just went in and out. And as a result, that meant you guys, instead of playing at 7:30 the following night, would be tipping off at 4:30 against a hungry community team that you guys have beaten in 2 previous games, both 8-point wins in the regular season. But this one, was not an 8-point game. It ended up being final score 60-38, and I think they was up 12-0 in the first quarter, and they kind of just, went on from there. What did you see? What was, in your mind, some of the causes of, the game on Saturday turning out the way it did? Because one could assume that the prior night had a lot of impact on how the following day, Saturday, was played.
Yeah, we could say that, but, Community lost a tight one to Loretto. So,
true.
That kind of is a wash thing. Emotionally, was it a more devastating loss for us? Maybe, I don't know. I didn't think we looked sharp enough early. Obviously, I was right, and we looked like we had tired legs, to be honest.
Yeah.
It looked like we were tired. It looked like we were a step slow. We looked at film today after school, and the guys kind of groaned as they saw what they were doing, and they were like, wow, I didn't realize it looked that bad. And I said, yeah. I said, it was that bad yesterday afternoon. I could only watch 1 quarter at a time.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. Normally I sit down and watch the whole game all the way through, and then I'll come back to it and watch it again and pause it and write stuff. I couldn't even do that yesterday. It was just not. That was not us.
Yeah.
I told the kids in the locker room today. I said, this is the last time we'll look at this film. I said, but I don't know whose team that was. I said, but that wasn't us.
Yeah.
And, you got to tip your hat to Cascade. They did a great job with their matchup zone. Haskins did a really good job of getting himself to the free throw line. But, in the end, we didn't do our job, and that's why they won.
For sure. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Continue talking to Coach Worsley of the Cascade Champions right here on the Cascade Coaches Show.
Looking for farm fresh beef with real Tennessee flavor? At Five Oaks Farm in Shelbyville, their cattle are pasture raised and grain finished for rich, tender taste every time. From their popular burger box to the fully stocked family box, Five Oaks Farm is here to serve you with high quality, locally raised beef. Order your box today at fiveoaksfarmtn.com. Five Oaks Farm, a brand you can trust.
At First Community Bank, we're more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Whether it's helping you buy your first home, saving for college, or offering a loan to get your dream off the ground, we're here every step of the way. For over 35 years, we've been proud to serve the people of Bedford County. When you bank with us, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family. First Community Bank, your hometown bank. Stop by today. We're just right down the road. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Kincaid's is proud to offer Beauty Rest Black to our customers. Beauty Rest Black represents a leap forward in bedding with sleep climate technology keeping you cool and triple-stranded pocketed coils to give you luxurious support all night long. Wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day with a new Beauty Rest Black mattress from Kincaid Service Company. 400 Madison Street, Shelbyville, across from the Speedway gas station. 931-684-5662. If you're in the market for heavy equipment, Clanton Pipe and Supply has you covered. With everything from skid steers, backhoes, and even mini excavators, you never know what Clanton will have on the lot. For all your pipe and used equipment needs, call 931-684-4847. For heavy equipment, financing is available with approved credit. And of course, you know Clanton for their corrugated metal and plastic culvert pipe. They carry all types and sizes, not to mention that delivery is also available. 931-684-4847, ClantonPipeandSupply.com.
It's the Cascade Coaches Show on the Zinger 100.9.
Welcome back to the Cascade Coaches Show, brought to you by Five Oaks Farm of Tennessee, Clanton Pipe and Supply, First Community Bank, and Kincaid Service Company. Noah Maddox here with Coach Doug Worsley, joined over the phone. Coach, we were just talking about the consolation game from Saturday afternoon and wrapping things up, or getting to wrapping things up. But I do want to, some specifics from this game. I do want to highlight our Heart of a Champion from that game, Isaiah Taylor. Obviously, you guys brought him, kind of opened up the bench a little bit in that game as that game progressed due to the nature of it. But what did you see from some of the guys that don't here recently, at least in the last month or so, haven't gotten the kind of run that your normal rotation has? What do you think of some of the guys that got in on Saturday? And did you see anything that that you liked in that second half?
Yeah, Micah has been doing a really good job, kind of giving us some plugging minutes. We know Jackson Golick was coming back off of being sick. Isaiah's been working hard every day in practice, and kind of his mantra is, "Hey, Coach, if you need me, great. If you don't, I understand." And he does a really good job. I think Isaiah is going to play a big role for us next year. But he does a really good job of just, "Hey, Coach, what do you need me to do?" We told him a couple specific things to do when he got in there. Said, "Hey, man, do this, and let's see what happens." And he got in the first half, and we continued playing him in the second half some. And he just, he's really steady. He's figuring things out. I think, for him, it was a confidence builder. He got in there, kind of got in the fire a little bit. And I think in the long term, it's going to pay off for us.
For sure. Yeah, you guys, after coming off of this game, will now be, at least this week, it's coming up on Saturday, the Region 5 2A tournament. It's the region quarterfinal. and the winner will advance to take on either Loretto or Decatur County Riverside. After Loretto, how about that game on Saturday, by the way? Loretto fell to Summertown in overtime, and the Summertown is on the opposite side of the bracket. You guys have not played Hickman County this year, unlike the girls, so we can't have that kind of discussion about, seeing them already this season, in the regular season at least. But your initial thoughts coming off of the loss on Saturday as you awaited this result between Lewis County and Hickman County. I remember you told me last week, that it was that Lewis County and Hickman both are extremely talented teams.
Yeah, both of them are really good. They split with each other during the season. Lewis County got off to a little bit slower start, I think, in the season than Hickman did, and then kind of hit their stride at the end. Coach Dawson, who's the head boys coach at Hickman County, is a good friend of mine. This goes back to my days at Sycamore, and he was at Cheatham County High School. We've known each other a long time, coached against each other a long time. He kind of, they started off fast, and they hit a little slump, and then they finished strong. But he does a great job with those kids. Like, we mentioned this earlier. He's been to the state tournament twice. Most of those kids that he has, I think he has 5 seniors or maybe 6 seniors. They're all battle tested. They've been to the state tournament. They know what it's about. They know what it takes to get there. So we have our hands full, but certainly a winnable game in the sense that if we compete and play to our strengths and limit them on their strengths, and we have an opportunity to maybe pull an upset off.
For sure. You guys, looking at scores isn't always the best thing, but they, everybody in that district at least, they played some close games. You guys, both boys and girls, it feels like all 4 teams from District 9 are battle tested to a certain degree in terms of, 6 of, and for the girls, some cases 7 or 8 of your games in district play were tight, hard fought, and extremely competitive. What benefit do you think that will help bring y'all come region tournament time as it begins this Saturday?
Well, we hope that that's going to be a positive for us, and our kids won't be rattled by the moment because it is, they were so tight. We'd like to think that our kids would just kind of embrace it, and they won't be shocked by the pressure of being on the road against a ranked team and somebody who's been to the state tournament. I don't think that will bother us. We're our district. We had Loretto, who's the defending 2A state champs. Summertown, who's been ranked in the top 10 for most of the year. So I kind of feel like, community, rightly or wrongly, maybe was, ranked ahead of us for most of the year. And I kind of thought we did a little better job against them than maybe the scorebook said. But I think being in such a tight district is going to pay off for us. I don't think it's going to be a detriment. I think our kids will be just fine.
For sure. Also, just thrown in there, in the middle of district play, you guys had a road trip to Richland and Cannon County, 2 ranked teams. Richland, obviously, single A, Cannon County in double A. And you guys had a pair of 1-possession wins. Those games specifically are where we can probably draw the most similarities to what's going to go down on Saturday, especially the game against Richland literally being on a Saturday. What do you think you can draw from, as a team, draw from those 2 games thrown in amongst this entire schedule for you guys?
Well, they're character-building games, rightly or wrongly. Even the first Cannon County game, we lost a tight one. You're talking about teams that have been ranked in their classifications for pretty much most of the year, and these are character-building games. They're games that again, they're pressure-packed. You find out who can operate in certain situations and who can't. I think that they're gonna be a good, solid test for us. I think they were good tests for us and prepping us for the postseason, which is why we put them on the schedule.
For sure. We'll continue talking to Coach Worsley right here on the Cascade Coaches Show.
Looking for farm fresh beef with real Tennessee flavor? At Five Oaks Farm in Shelbyville, their cattle are pasture-raised and grain-finished for rich, tender taste every time. From their popular burger box to the fully stocked family box, Five Oaks Farm is here to serve you with high-quality, locally raised beef. Order your box today at fiveoaksfarmtn.com. Five Oaks Farm, a brand you can trust. Looking for farm fresh beef with real Tennessee flavor? At Five Oaks Farm in Shelbyville, their cattle are pasture-raised and grain-finished for rich, tender taste every time. From their popular burger box to the fully stocked family box, Five Oaks Farm is here to serve you with high-quality, locally raised beef. Order your box today at fiveoaksfarmtn.com. Five Oaks Farm, a brand you can trust.
At First Community Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're a true partner in your success. As a local business ourselves, we understand the challenges you face. Whether you're a new startup, a family business, or a growing company, we're here to help offer the tailored financial solutions you need. Looking for a loan, a business checking account that works for you, or expert advice from someone who truly gets it? We're just a call away, ready to support you with personalized service that makes a real difference. At First Community Bank, we believe your success is our success. Join the many local businesses who trust us every day to help them grow. Come see us today or visit firstcommunitybanker.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Visit Kincaid Service Company today to experience the superior comfort of a Serta mattress. Serta has pioneered sleep innovation for more than 90 years, bringing quality products to more than 150 countries worldwide. Serta Comfort is validated by consumers with thousands of five-star reviews and are designed and assembled in the U.S. at one of Serta's state-of-the-art facilities. Serta's award-winning mattress collections are created by providing superior comfort along with overall support and breathability. Get Serta Comfort by visiting Kincaid Service Company in Shelbyville. Online at kincaidservice.com.
It's the Cascade Coaches Show on the Zinger 100.9.
Welcome back to the Cascade Coaches Show right here on the Zinger, brought to you by Five Oaks Farm of Tennessee, Clinton Pipe and Supply, First Community Bank, and Kincaid Service Company. Maddox here, joined over the phone by Coach Doug Worsley. Coach, what, in your mind, are going to be the biggest keys to taking down Hickman County on the road on Saturday night at 7 o'clock?
We're going to have to deal with, they've got good length and size, so that's going to be tough for us. And we're going to have to be able to hold our own on the backboards, on the rebounds. We've got to hit fine fetch. We've got to do a really good job rebounding that night. Giving them multiple possessions will not end well for us. So we've got to really make it one and done on their shots. And then I think we need to get in transition. They play a little bit slower pace than most people, and that's because of their size and length. So we need to get out and run. We need to use our speed, our athleticism. We don't have huge size, but we need to use it to our advantage.
For sure, yeah. They're. I noticed on the film, at least, they have, their center. He's got the one with the knee brace or leg brace or whatever it is. He's pretty tall inside, and obviously that can provide a bit of an obstacle on the glass as you're talking about. What gives you guys, obviously the big wins earlier in the season against high quality teams, probably is a big part of this equation. But what gives you guys the confidence to go in there and knowing how the district tournament went and how close you were in the semifinal, gives you the confidence to go in there and try and come out with the win and pull off the upset against a team that just won their district on Saturday?
Well, we know it's not going to be an easy task, but if we'll do the things that have made us competitive all year long, there's only been a couple games that we've gotten blown out. A lot of our games are really tight. A lot of competitive games, even late into the fourth quarter, even games that we ended up losing, very competitive in the fourth. We just have to do what we do best, and just play. For all intents and purposes, nobody's expecting us to win. It's a 1 versus 4 seed. So the 1 seed has all the advantage. They're supposed to be the better team. They're, at home. We just play with house money. It's house money. If we win, we'll have shocked everybody. And, that's the thing. Anything can happen. Basketball is a tournament sport. I know we're not playing. Maybe we didn't play as well as we thought we would Saturday. But we're still playing, I think, at a high level. To lose to Summertown by 3 and have a shot to win it at the end, I still think we're capable of winning and pulling off a huge upset, and I think that gives our kids confidence.
For sure. Do you think, the seniors that you guys have, despite this, being your first year here at Cascade, you've talked, lovingly about this group of guys that you have here at Cascade in your first year. How big of an impact are these seniors, have they been on the year as a whole, and specifically going into this full week of prep, knowing how important this game is on Saturday?
Well, obviously the seniors have been a group that we've leaned on all year. 3 of them obviously, starting pretty consistently, and then the other 3, being used off the bench quite a bit. We've trusted them all year long. We're going to continue trusting them, and we're going to trust our younger guys who are playing with them to continue to elevate their game. And, these guys, they've been there in the sense that, they went to the region last year. So they know what it means to be on the road. Obviously, they were a 3 seed playing the 2 seed, but they still know what it means. Hey, you're on the road. They know what it takes if you're going to compete. And, we know that they didn't win that game last year. Hopefully they've learned from that, and they know as they go into this week of prep what it's going to take to go in and have a chance to win.
For sure. Thank you so much, Coach, once again for calling in on the show this evening and taking the time with us. And good luck, best of luck on Saturday. We're really looking forward to you guys taking on Hickman County despite the long drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. We're definitely, it's a little bit of a drive to get over there, but we're looking forward to seeing Coach Dawson and the Hickman County Bulldogs.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right. That was Coach Doug Worsley. And for Brandon Crossan on the 1s and 2s, I'm Maddox signing off for the final time tonight. We'll talk to you again Friday at 6:45 p.m. from Hickman County, Cascade, and the Lady Bulldogs tipping off on Friday, followed by the champions hitting the road, taking on Hickman County on Saturday. Both games at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and we'll be live at 6:45. Talk to you then.
Real classic rock, cause your mama said so. WZNG Shelbyville, the Zinger 100.9 and AM 1400. From the Farm Bureau Insurance North Main Office Weather Center, here's Southern Tennessee weather meteorologist Elijah Kirby.
Monday afternoon and evening will remain cold across southern Middle Tennessee. Skies will be partly to mostly cloudy with highs near 36 degrees. Northwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour will keep wind chills hovering below freezing for much of the day. As we head into the evening hours, temperatures will fall quickly after sunset. Monday night will be cold but calmer, with partly cloudy skies and lows falling near 18 degrees. Winds will diminish, allowing for temperatures to drop efficiently. Tuesday brings a noticeable improvement. Expect highs near 48 degrees under partly to mostly cloudy skies. Light winds out of the south will begin to develop and help push in warmer air. This warming trend continues through the week, with afternoon highs climbing back into the mid-60s by midweek, and the chance of rain will also increase. That's your Monday afternoon and evening weather update. I'm Southern Tennessee weather meteorologist Elijah Kirby.
Generations have turned to Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee to protect the lives they've built. We're here with life insurance that grows with you and agents in every Tennessee community. If you're new to the area or just new to us, call your local agents Jeff and Kenneth at 931-575-5050 or visit the Bedford North Main Farm Bureau office at 1735 North Main Street, Suite C1 in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life.
Do I go?
Yeah.
Oh. This is freshman Cascade cheerleader Jessie McElroy. You're on the radio, home of the champions, the Zinger 100.9 and AM 1400.
Go Champions.
Go Champs.
Go Champs!